quality education. Expanding access to learning. Serving learners' learning needs. Tackling challenges of the present time. Supporting every learner's dream. Reaching young Tagumenians where they are today. From the music capital of the Philippines, advancing in the challenge of distance learning. Bringing you quality education straight to your home. Plug yourself in. This is DepEd TV. Tara na!
Do you want to learn new things today? I would really love to hear that big yes from you. I am Teacher Clarife and I will be your Science 4 teacher. I'm gonna help you learn many things and I'm gonna bring you to the amazing world of science. Hello there! How are you today? Did you have fun watching our first video lesson in Science 4 Week 1? Did you learn a lot? Did you answer all the activities in your module? That's great!
But before we go on to our next lesson, let us first have a short review about the first lesson we had discussed for Week 1. Can you still remember our previous lesson? Wow, that's great! Now, let's watch this video.
This video lesson will help you learn science facts and concepts and also develop your positive attitude and values and of course, your interest towards science. We will cover the lessons on classify materials based on the ability to absorb water, float, sink, and undergo decay. Specifically, you will learn to identify and describe the kind of materials that float and sink. Second, identify and describe the materials that undergo decay. Third, describe and classify materials based on the ability to absorb water. And lastly, you're gonna classify the materials that undergo decay. Every day, you use different kinds of materials, such as your books and school supplies, the food that you eat, the tools you use. All of them are made of different material.
Last time, we talked about the ability of materials to absorb water, float, sink, and undergo decay. Now let us test if you really remember and understood our lesson by playing this guessing game. Are you ready? Let's begin. Direction. Look at closely to the given picture and identify whether it absorbs water, floats, sinks, or undergo decay. Let's begin with number 1. This is the picture. Now what do you think is the correct answer? Great job! The stone sinks. How about number 2? Wow, you're correct. The water bottle floats. How about this picture? Amazing! You're doing great! A blanket absorbs water. And lastly, yes, exactly! Tomato undergo decay. Great job, kids! I am really happy because I know that you really understood our lesson.
Today, we will be exploring more about the changes in solid materials. But before that, let me check first if you have the following materials with you. Do you have your module, your notebook, your pen, and of course your snacks? If all are set and ready, come on, let's start the learning adventure. Today, we will be exploring more about the changes in solid materials. Do you know that some solids changes its appearance when you apply something to it? Great! Do you know that some of these changes may be of help or might give harm to people? This video lesson is primarily made for you learners to help you fully understand the lesson. This will cover the week 2 and 3 lessons that contains different exercises and activities that will help you develop the insight and your ability necessary to learn and master the skills and that are challenging and meaningful and that would tickle your mind. This video lesson will cover the lessons on describe the changes in materials when they are bent, hammered, pressed, or cut. Specifically, you will learn to describe first, the changes in solid materials when they are bent, pressed, hammered, or cut. Second, what happens to solid materials when they are bent? Third, what happens to solid materials when they are pressed? Fourth, what happens to solid materials when they are cut? And lastly, what happens to solid materials when they are hammered? This lesson can help you identify examples of solids and know the changes that the solid materials undergo. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have prior knowledge about the changes in solid materials? Wow, that's great! Now let's try to find out if you do have prior knowledge about the changes in solid materials by answering the following questions. You will be given 10 seconds to answer each question and later on we will check if you got the correct answer. Are you ready? Let's begin! Direction. Identify the letter that best completes the statement or answers the question. Question number 1. Which statement is false? A. Matter can also change from one state to another. B. All changes in matter can easily be identified. C. Material undergoes several changes. And letter D. All of the above. Your timer starts now. Time is up! Let's proceed to question number 2. Karen was playing with her modeling clay. As she pressed the clay, she was able to form many different toys. Which of the following describes what happens to the modeling clay when it was pressed? A. Change its size and color. B. Change its size and shape. C. Change its volume and odor. And letter D. Change its volume and color. Your timer starts now. Time is up! Let's proceed to question number 3. Your brother pounded the tin can with a hammer several times. What do you think happened to the tin can? A. Change the size and volume. B. Change the size and shape. C. Change the color and odor. Letter D. Change the shape only. Your timer starts now. Time is up! Let's proceed to question number 4. Which among the materials need hammering? A. Clay. B. Paper. C. Tin can. And letter D. Pandesal. Your timer starts now. Time is up! Let's proceed to the last question. What will you do to your crumpled clothes so it will look neat and clean? A. Cut. B. Bend. C. Press. Or D. Hammer. Your timer starts now. Time is up! Did you get all the correct answers? Okay, we will check that later. So before we proceed to our lesson, you're going to identify some important words that are necessary in understanding fully our lesson today. And you will learn that by answering this activity. Arrange the jumbled letters based on the given meaning. So the meaning will be your clue. Now listen carefully and understand the meaning of each word. Are you ready? Now let's begin. For number 1, these are the jumbled letters. And the meaning of this word is to force from proper shaping by curving. What could be this word? Great job! The answer is pressing. Now let's proceed to number 2. These are the jumbled letters. And the meaning of this word is an action of pushing pressure. What could be this word? And the answer is bend. Great job, kids! Now let's proceed to number 3. These are the jumbled letters. And the meaning of this word is to strike sharply with a cutting effect. What would be this word? Great job! The answer is cut. Now let's proceed to the last word. These are the jumbled letters. And the meaning of this word is something that resembles a hammer in a form of action. What could be this word? What is your answer? Great job! The answer is hammer. Wow! You got all the correct answer. Now these words are important words for our lesson today. Now let's have another activity. Now I will be reading a poem and you're gonna answer the question later on. Are you ready? The title of the poem is The Carpenter. The carpenter's hammer strikes the wood, and his saw goes to and fro, it seems a buzzing bee. He planes and measures and he hammers, and saw with patience and hard work while he builds a house for me. I have here the following question. What carpenter's tools did he use? Number 2. What do you think will happen to the wood when he strikes the hammer? And number 3, why we need patience and hard work in doing carpentry at home? Write down your answers in your notebook. Now you will be given 2 minutes to answer those questions. Did you answer all the questions, kids? Great! Now let's have another activity. It's called Know Me. Okay, now you will draw lines to match the pictures to its suitable explanation in the column A and B. You will be given 2 minutes to answer this activity, and your timer starts now. Time is up! Now let's check if you got the correct answer. For number 1, a force into a particular place or shape by hitting. What is your answer? Yes, you're right. It is a hammer. How about number 2? Take some cutting from plant and put them in water. What is your answer? Great job! It's a scissor. How about number 3? Simple tool designed to manually drive nails. What is your answer? Great job! It's a hammer. How about number 4? Has a head and handle. Yes, it's a hammer. And lastly, sharp tool to divide something into 2 or more pieces. What is your answer? Yes, it's a scissor. Great job, kids! Did you have fun answering the activity? Great! Now what happens to solid when hammered? Do you have any idea? This is your task number 1. You're gonna do a simple activity. Reminder, handle the materials with care. Number 1, hammer each of the given materials. After hammering, observe what happens. Number 2, write your observations in your notebook using the table below. After doing the activity, what have you found out? What happened to the solid materials when they are hammered? Did it change its form? Its size? Its volume? Number 2, was a new material formed after hammering the solid material? Great! Now, number 3, explain what happened to the materials as hammering was applied. Good job! You have done the activity with care. Now, let us know more about hammering. Now, what is a hammer? A hammer is a tool consisting of a weighted head fixed to a long handle that is swung to deliver an impact to a small area of an object. This can be, for example, to drive nails into wood, to shape metal, as with forge, or to crush rock. Hammers are used for a wide range of driving, shaping, and breaking applications. Solid materials can be hammered. When hammered, these materials may change their size and shape, and even the texture. However, no new material is formed because only the physical appearance of the material is changed. Now, did you understand what is hammering? Does it affect the appearance of a solid object? Great job! Now, what happens to solid materials when they are cut? Now, what you need for this activity are the following. You need 1 piece of any box, plant twig, cardboard, used cloth, 2 pieces of dried leaves, wrappers, grasses, and pairs of scissors. Now, what you're going to do? Place all the materials on the table. Number 2, using the pair of scissors, cut each of the given materials. Observe what happens to the material. And number 3, record your observations in your notebook using the table below. Have fun in doing the activity, kids. I'll just be right back. What have you found out? Did you describe what happens to solid materials when they are cut? Great job! Was a new material formed after cutting the material? Yes, exactly. Explain what happened to material as cutting was applied. Great observation, kids, and thank you for doing the activity safely. You've done the activity so well. Now let us explore more. A pair of scissors consists of a pair of metal blades pivoted so that the sharpened edges slide against each other when the handles opposite to the pivot are closed. Scissors are used for cutting various thin materials such as paper, cardboard, metal foil, cloth, rope, and wire. Great job, kids! I am very impressed on how you answered the question. It seems that you are really listening well. Now let's get into action. Look around your house. The following materials can be seen inside. What do you think are the changes that may happen to these materials? Now check the column where they belong. Your timer starts now. So solids can be found anywhere. Some materials can be bent, hammered, pressed, or cut depending on the property of the material. When bent, hammered, pressed, or cut, these materials will change its shape and size. But no new material is formed. Only the physical appearance of the material is changed. Now, what do you think will happen to the materials when they are bent, when they are hammered, when they are cut, or when they are pressed? Now, let's describe what will happen to the materials when they are pressed. Some solid materials can be pressed depending on the property of the material. When pressed, these materials will change their size and shape. Other solid materials will change their texture when pressed. However, no new material is formed because only the physical appearance of the material is changed. Now, have you tried playing a clay or a Play-Doh? Have you tried molding it? And what did you observe? Yes, you're right. Only their physical appearance changed. You might transform it into any figure or any shape that you want. That is all about pressing. Very good, kids! You made it! Now look at this table. What you're going to do is you're gonna encircle all the materials that can be bent. Read carefully the words. Okay? So are you ready? Let's do it! Here are very good, excellent. You are amazing. You are doing great. Now it's the time to try the fruit of our journey. Are you ready? So this is the final assessment. Now what you're going to do is you have to read carefully each question, then write the letter of your answer on your science notebook. Let's start with number 1. How can we show our appreciation on locally made products? A. By buying Filipino-made products. B. By buying any products we want to use. C. By throwing away defective products bought. Letter D. By buying products made in other countries. Now let's proceed to number 2. How can we protect ourselves when doing exercise? A. Wear protective gear. B. Wear proper clothing. C. Warm up and cool down properly. And letter D. All of the above. Number 3. Which of the following solid materials can be bent? A. Key. B. Clothesline. C. Iron bars. And D. All of the above. Great job, kids! Did you answer all the questions correctly? Amazing! Let's have a recap of our lesson today. What did we discuss? Yes, you're right. We talk about the changes of the appearance of the different solid materials when they are cut, when they are bent, when they are hammered, and lastly, when they are pressed. Great job, kids! I hope you learned a lot today. Remember, this video lesson is good for 2 weeks, for week 2 and for week 3. So you will be given enough time to answer all the activities in your module. Remember, you have to analyze each question before you write your answer. Good luck, kids! Thank you for watching this video eagerly, and I really appreciate your effort and hope you will answer all the questions in your modules correctly. This is Teacher Clarife saying goodbye and thank you. See you again for our next lesson.